You know, it's crazy to imagine how much it's crazy to imagine how many types of roadblocks. It's crazy to imagine how many types of roadblocks you can encounter while simply trying to unite and bring about peace. It just makes you wonder why, because think about it. I don't know. I mean, we always think that the world is not safe and is not, the best and X, Y, and Z, and it could be better. But it's like we just kind of talk about it, we complain about it, and we just move on. And so I feel like I'm someone who's literally extending my hand out and saying, hey, let's come together. And it's like every unthinkable responses. It's like, hold on, man. I'm just saying, let's come together, let's unite. What's up with all this animosity? But I suppose we're in a world where even if somebody says, let's unite and offers their hand, we have to think of so many reasons, or we have so many reasons as to why we shouldn't just, believe them. And so that's naturally a sad world, right? I mean, where someone could come to you and say, hey, let's unite, and you have to, and rightfully so as well, you have to really put a wall up and a guard up and be like, yo, hold on, what are you saying? What are you trying to do? Are you really saying this, but you really mean that? Anyways, let me not go in that direction, but yeah. So, AIPC, I guess, just wants to create a world where we're actually united. AIPC wants to reignite compassion back into the hearts of humanity. That's really what AIPC wants to do, is reignite compassion back into the hearts of humanity. Is because if we can do that, then just imagine, anything that you do throughout your day, if you just add a little bit of more compassion into it. If you even think about compassion, what's compassion? Compassion is caring, right? There's definitely an element of caring that comes with compassion. But here's what compassion, here's and I want to clarify this now because I've already kind of seen this. Compassion does not negate accountability. And I want to be clear on that. Compassion doesn't negate accountability. There's still an aspect of accountability that we have, that there's always an aspect of accountability. But compassion is holding accountable. Or if you are going to hold someone accountable, do it with compassion. And if you are someone who is hurting others, then have compassion and just don't. You really don't have to hurt others to be happy. And I know we've come to a world where that's become like a thing that many of us perhaps believe, where we have to hurt others in whatever aspect, any aspect, where we feel like there's a need to hurt others for our success. And AIPC says no, that's not the case. Because first of all, you can never truly be happy if you're rising through hurting others. And the paradox of that idea in itself is just grand, for lack of better words. You know what? That's one thing about AIPC I never expressed to you guys, and I'm gonna take this time now to do it. Is AIPC is not satisfied with the current state of communication, proper communication, clear communication in the world. AIPC, long story short, let me not make this too long, let me just say this. AIPC wants to create new words as well, right? And you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and explain one of the words right now. How about that? This is my first time. I'm gonna explain this word. I've been might as well just do it, right? I have been thinking and planning on what occasion, what form, and how I'm gonna go over these vocabulary words, but not here it is. So one of the words is benestrat. And benestrat is a word that is meant to combat the damage that the word hypocrite has done to society. I feel like if there is ever an enemy of AIPC, then one of them would be the word hypocrite. And the reason is because I feel like that word has done more damage to the world. That word has done more damage to society, the misuse of that word, than a lot of other things. Like that word has really plummeted society. So there's a word that AIPC created, and that word is benestrat. And the word benestrat is meant to combat some of the negative results that the word hypocrite has been misused to use. I don't know if that made sense, but I'm not going to edit it. But that takes too much time. What was I going to say? Yeah. So that. On another word, bias, right? So there's another word, it's called Sophion. And I might change the word, but it's called Sophion. No. Yeah, that's what it's called, Sophion. And it's meant to bring more clarification to the word bias. I feel like the word bias is also mishandled in its use. And so AIPC created a word called Sophion to try to aid that. And I decided I'm not going to go over the definitions of those today, but whoever is still listening, language is a very big part of AIPC and its vision and its mission. And I feel like language is not adequate enough. And we need to refine the use of language so we can better communicate, because we can't have peace without proper communication. And so communication is definitely one of the focal points of AIPC's mission and vision. But anyways, I think that's good enough for today. For those of you who are still watching, thank you very much. I am gonna get into a more comfortable space, but for now, this is where I landed. Alrighty, see you guys.